Welcome back to the deep dive. Usually when we sit down to go through a stack of research, we are looking at something tangible.
Right.
We're looking at market trends or historical events, or maybe a new piece of tech like a phone or a car battery. But today
is different.
Today's weird.
Weird is putting it mildly. Paradigm shifting might be the academic term, but weird feels a lot more honest.
I was reading through these papers last night, and we're talking about theoretical physics, detailed specifications for an interstellar AI contact protocol, white papers on deep space waste heat conversion.
And the whole stack.
The whole stack. And I honestly had to put the tablet down and just stare at the wall for a minute.
I get that.
Because if the math in these documents is right, then everything we think we know about how the universe works is, well, it's not wrong exactly, but it's incomplete.
It's like seeing a shadow and thinking it's the object. You aren't wrong about the shape of the shadow, but you are completely missing the three-dimensional reality that's casting it.
Exactly. That's a perfect analogy. We are looking at a proposal for something called omniversal theory. And it claims that Einstein's famous equation, the bedrock of physics, E equals mc squared, is missing a variable.
A huge one.
It proposes a new map of reality involving something called the velocity of darkness. And it creates a roadmap for a mission, a literal space mission, to travel to the edge of reality and come back.
And that is what we are going to do today. We're not just going to sit here and lecture on the math.
No.
We're going to simulate that mission. We're going to follow the path of this hypothetical probe, the Seeker. We're going to build it, we're going to launch it, and we're going to see if we can survive the trip.
So buckle up. We're leaving the solar system.
Let's do it.
Okay. To understand where we're going, we have to start with the engine room. And that begins with the most famous equation in history. E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. I learned this in high school. You learned this in high school. It's on t-shirts. Why does this source material want to break it?
Break might be too harsh of a word. I think a better way to look at it is unpacking. The source calls Einstein's equation epistemically overloaded.
Which is a very, very fancy way of saying.
It's doing too much heavy lifting with too few variables. Think about it. Look at the c squared part, the speed of light squared.
Right, the cosmic speed limit.
Exactly. In classical relativity, c represents the speed of causality. It's the fastest that any information can travel in the universe. Nothing happens faster than light.
The classic example, if the sun explodes, we don't know about it for 8 minutes.
For 8 minutes. Because the information, the light, the gravity wave, has to travel at speed c.
Okay.
And squaring it gives us this absolutely massive number that explains why a tiny bit of mass like, a single atom can contain a huge amount of energy. But here is the critique, the central argument in these omniversal theory papers.
What's the problem?
When Einstein wrote c squared, he was making a hidden assumption, a big one. He was assuming the universe is flat.
Flat. Okay, hold on. Like flat Earth. Because if this is a flat Earth deep dive, I'm out.
No, absolutely not flat Earth, thank goodness, flat space-time.
Okay, explain that.
He was assuming that space is this smooth, continuous canvas, a perfect grid. He was assuming that cause and effect are always perfectly symmetrical, that A always leads to B in a straight line.
But we know that's not the whole story.
We know from quantum mechanics that it isn't always true. We have things like spooky action at a distance.
Right, quantum entanglement. That's where you have two particles and they can be on opposite sides of the universe. And if you measure the spin of one, the other one instantly changes its spin to match.
Instantly. Faster than light.
Yeah.
Precisely. Einstein hated that. He called it spooky because it broke his speed limit. It broke c. So this new theory argues that c squared is actually a placeholder. It's a sort of a cheat code that works most of the time but glosses over the hidden processing power of the universe.
So they want to rip the equation open, unpack it, as you said.
Okay.
So instead of E equals mc squared, what did they give us?
They give us E equals mcd.
E mcd. Okay, m is still mass,
So back.
c is still the speed of light,
Yes,
but now we have a d, the velocity of darkness.
that's the one.
I have to stop you right there. Velocity of darkness. I mean, come on. It sounds like a villain in a Marvel movie. It sounds incredibly unscientific. Is this just poetry or is there actual math here?
There is serious math here, but you absolutely have to get past the name. It's a bit theatrical, I'll grant you.
A little bit.
But darkness in this context doesn't mean evil or scary or anything like that. It implies causal closure.
Okay, explain causal closure to me like I'm 5.
All right. Imagine you're in a completely dark room and you turn on a flashlight. The light spreads out, right?
Yeah, it expands.
That is C. It's the opening of what physicists call the light cone. It is information traveling outward, revealing things, creating possibilities.
Okay, light is expansion, opening. That makes sense.
D is the exact opposite. D is contraction. It's the rate at which all those infinite possibilities, that expanding cone of light, collapses back down into a single concrete reality. It's the closing of the cone.
So if C is the movie playing out on the screen, D is the projector deciding which frame comes next, choosing from all the possible frames.
That's a great analogy. It really is. Or think of it geometrically, which is how the papers describe it. They define D as moving through imaginary time, using the variable I from math and operating in something called phase space.
Okay, that's getting a bit abstract. How does that explain the spooky action thing?
Well, think about it this way. C, the speed of light, has to travel across our familiar 3D space. It has to take the long road. It's bound by our dimensions. It takes time.
Right, 8 minutes from the sun.
But D, this velocity of darkness, it represents potential. It travels through these complex imaginary dimensions. It takes a shortcut. It takes the tunnel. It can connect 2 points in space instantly because it isn't constrained by the scenic route of 3D space.
So the unknown, what we think of as empty space, isn't actually empty. It's a connection fabric. It's like the wiring under the floorboards of reality.
Exactly. And this is what allows the universe to kind of process things behind the scenes. And this leads to the most mind-bending variable in this new equation. It's what the source calls the prime observer.
The prime observer.
In the notation, it's written as exclamation point. Oh, exclamation point.
Whoa, the exclamation points seem a little aggressive.
It's to emphasize the magnitude of its effect. The math suggests that the velocity of darkness, d, is inversely proportional to observation O.
Inversely proportional. Okay, so as one goes up, the other goes down.
You got it. So if O equals 1, that means full observation. You're looking right at the particle, you've measured it, the wave function collapses. Reality is fixed and solid. In that specific case, D drops all the way down to match C.
And when D equals C, the equation becomes E equals MCC, which is E equals MC squared. It gives us our standard everyday physics. Because when we look at things, they behave normally. I see the cup on the table, it stays on the table, no spooky action.
What if nobody is looking? What if O approaches 0?
Well, if they're inversely proportional, then D, the velocity of darkness, shoots up to infinity.
To infinity, exactly. When unobserved, the potential of the universe becomes infinite and instantaneous. It allows the universe to rearrange itself behind the scenes to connect all points instantly. It's that dark processing power we were talking about.
This feels like it's bridging physics and, philosophy, metaphysics. Because the source text gets even stranger here. It mentions something about gravity being love.
It does. And this is the point where a lot of people might roll their eyes, so let's try and ground it in the logic of the theory.
Please.
The papers describe gravity not just as the bending of space-time, which is the traditional Einsteinian view, but as an entropic function. The exact phrase they use is the desire for love without a vector.
Desire for love without a vector. That sounds like a bad dating profile bio. Hi, I'm Gravity, just looking for love without a vector.
It does, doesn't it? But let's break it down. Think about what gravity does.
It pulls things together.
It pulls things together. It creates clumps. It forms stars, planets, galaxies. It seeks aggregation. It seeks connection.
It's a desire for wholeness.
Right. But it's without a vector,
Yeah.
which means it doesn't know how to connect properly. It's just this blind, indiscriminate pull. The papers call it a particular misunderstanding that creates force.
Misunderstand.
The theory argues that the universe fundamentally wants to be whole. It desires harmony. And gravity is just the clumsy, physical, brute force manifestation of that deeper desire for connection.
That is actually kind of beautiful. It's heavy, but beautiful.
Pun intended.
Always intended. Okay, so let's recap. We have a new set of rules for the universe. We have EMCD. We know that reality is a constant dance between light, which is expansion, and darkness, which is potential and contraction.
And we, the observers, are the choreographers.
Right. Our observation changes the math. So now we need to apply this. We need to go from the engine room to the actual territory. We need to visit the omniverse.
We need to see the architecture. Because if EMCD is the engine, the omniverse is the vast, sprawling landscape that allows us to explore.
And the source material provides a roadmap, a massive, terrifying-looking integral equation for the omniverse, which it denotes simply as O.
It looks like hieroglyphics at first glance.
It really does. I'm looking at it now. It's got brackets, integrals, deltas, sigmas. Can we break this down with without putting everyone to sleep?
I think so. It's actually a story told in variables. The equation is basically a way to sum up all possible realities. But there are four main characters in this story: T sub I, V sub I, C sub I, and H sub I.
Okay, let's take them one by one. T sub I.
That stands for timelines. This theory fully embraces a multiverse structure. It says reality branches constantly. Every time a quantum event happens, every time a choice is made, reality splits. T sub I represents just one of those individual branches. Your life, my life, the life where you wore a different shirt today.
Okay, standard sci-fi stuff so far. Marvel, Rick and Morty, we get it. Multiple timelines. Next, V sub I.
Variability. This is the freedom variable, it asks. How many choices are available within that specific timeline? Is it a deterministic timeline where everything is locked in, like a movie playing on a DVD? Or is it a timeline with high variability, where anything can happen?
And then we get to the really controversial one, C sub I.
Consciousness. And I want to be crystal clear here. The source is absolutely adamant about this point. In this model, consciousness is not a byproduct of the brain.
It's not something that just happens when you get enough neurons firing together.
Exactly. It is a fundamental variable of the universe, just like mass or charge or spin. C sub I represents the depth and quality of awareness present in that timeline.
The classic if a tree falls in the forest question.
This equation suggests the universe wouldn't even resolve without C sub I. It would just remain a static, blurry field of probability. Consciousness is the needle that drops onto the record and plays the music. Without it, there's only silence.
And finally, the weighting factor. The one that really changes the game, H sub I.
Harmony. This is the true game changer. Standard physics says the universe doesn't care, it's neutral, it's just rocks and gas and entropy. This formula says, no, that's wrong. The omniverse prioritizes. It actively weights timelines based on their level of harmony.
What does weight mean in this context? Does it mean it prefers them?
It means stability. A timeline with high chaos, high destruction, low harmony. It has a low existence weight. It's unstable. It tends to collapse or fray or just become a dead end. But a timeline with high harmony, which the papers explicitly equate to things like world peace or convergent cooperation, is more robust, it's more stable. It's what the entire omniverse is trying to solve for.
So it's acting like a cosmic filter.
Exactly. It's an evolutionary filter for reality itself. The source calls it entropic gravity. We usually think entropy means things falling apart, disorder, your bedroom getting messy.
Right.
But this theory suggests the omniverse as a whole is an anti-entropic system. It naturally filters for maximal harmony. It wants to organize. It wants to build more complex and beautiful structures. It wants to solve the puzzle of its own existence.
That sounds incredibly optimistic, but it leads to a very unsettling concept that's mentioned in the notes, something called quantum immortality.
Yes.
If the universe prioritizes the observer, the C sub I, and it also prioritizes harmony, H sub I, what happens when the observer dies?
This is the part that kept me up last night. It's deeply strange. If consciousness is fundamental, a core variable, then it can't just be deleted. The value of C cannot just drop to 0.
Okay.
So let's say you are in a timeline, we'll call it timeline A, and you step off a curb without looking and you get hit by a bus.
A bad day. Lights out.
In timeline A, yes, for everyone else in that reality, it's over. Your body stops functioning, they plan the funeral, they mourn you. The external observers in timeline A, you are gone. But you are the prime observer of your own reality. Your C sub I must continue. So the theory suggests that your point of awareness instantly pivots.
Pivots to where? Another body. Reincarnation.
No, something much more immediate. It pivots to timeline B, an almost identical timeline where you stepped off the curb a split second later.
Yeah.
Or the bus driver sneezed and hit the brakes. You navigate through a divergence point, a D sub I.
So from my point of view, I just narrowly avoid death.
From your perspective, yes. You have a near miss. You feel a huge rush of adrenaline. Your heart pounds. You think, wow, that was close. And you carry on with your day. You never, ever experience the timeline where you died.
But that implies that I have died a lot.
In other branches,
Yeah.
potentially. There could be infinite branches of you that didn't make it. But the you that is here, listening to this deep dive, is the one that has successfully surfed the probability wave. It's survival of the most conscious.
That's both terrifying and strangely empowering. It means we are navigating a maze, and as long as we keep observing, the maze keeps generating a path forward for us.
Exactly. And that is precisely why we need a map. We can't just drift through this omniverse blind. If we were going to send our probe, the Seeker, into this maze, we need a way to steer. We need to know which timelines are harmonious and which are cosmic dead ends.
And we can't use GPS because the satellites are all back on Earth in a timeline we may have already left behind.
No GPS. We need something universal. We need a language that is true in every possible reality. We need the fractal of ceneezer.
Which brings us to section 3, the map. The documents call this the mathematical Rosetta Stone. Now, I've looked at the diagrams in the source PDFs. It looks like a kaleidoscope of numbers. It's beautiful, but...
That's trippy. It is. But it's designed to solve a massive fundamental problem. How do you communicate with an alien intelligence? How do you map a universe where the laws of physics might shift from one timeline to another?
You can't use English?
You can't even use our symbols for numbers, like 1, 2, 3. Those are just arbitrary scribbles we invented. An alien race might have completely different symbols.
So what's constant? What's the one thing that has to be the same everywhere?
The relationships between quantities, the underlying patterns of mathematics itself. And this is where digital root multiplication comes in.
Okay, walk us through that. I'm looking at one of the grids of numbers right now. How does this work?
Okay, it's simpler than it looks. Take any number, let's say the number 12.
Got it, 12.
Now just add the digits together. 1 plus 2.
That's 3.
That's the digital root. The digital root of 12 is 3. Now try a bigger one. How about 506?
Okay, 5 plus 6 is 11.
It has to be a single digit, so keep going.
Ah, right. 1 plus 1 is 2. So the digital root of 56 is 2.
Exactly. You just keep adding the digits until you get a single number from 1 to 9. Now, here's the magic. If you take a standard multiplication table, just a 9 by 9 grid like you learned in school, and you convert every single answer to its digital root, a stunning pattern emerges.
It's not just random noise.
It's the opposite of random. You get a perfect repeating geometry, a beautiful symmetrical fractal.
And this pattern, why is it so special?
Because it's topologically invariant. That's a fancy term. But it means it doesn't matter what number system you use. It doesn't matter if you're a human using base 10 or some tentacled alien with 3 fingers using base 6. The symmetry and the periodicity of the digital root pattern remain exactly the same. It is a universal constant embedded in the very fabric of logic.
So if we broadcast this pattern out into space with the seeker, we are essentially saying we're here and we understand the fundamental structure of math.
Exactly. It's the ultimate hello.
Yeah.
And the map that this pattern creates shows a very specific structure. Infinite quadrants of numbers reflecting each other. And in the very center, a cross of zeros, the zero cross.
The zero cross. This brings us back to the concept of zero. In school, zero is nothing. It's an empty set. It's the absence of cookies in the cookie jar.
But in this theory, zero is not nothing. Zero is omega. It is pure potential. It is the bridge. Think about the origin on a graph. The point, 0, it's the only point that touches all 4 quadrants simultaneously.
It's the pivot point, the universal intersection.
Right. The theory calls it the unknown bridge that allows you to travel between different levels of understanding, different numerical bases without any contradiction. If you can get to 0, you can go anywhere in the map.
Speaking of bases, this map isn't just about counting, is it? The papers describe a hierarchy of meaning. They start mapping numbers to morality and ideals, which feels like a huge category error. Math is supposed to be cold and objective. Morality is human and subjective.
Not in the omniverse.
What's that?
This is where the engineering meets the theology, for lack of a better term. They define the low bases, bases 2 through 5, as the unbreakable universal rules.
Like the laws of physics.
Even more fundamental.
Yeah.
Like the laws of logic. Base 2 is binary. On, off, yes, non-existence. You can't argue with base 2. It's the bedrock of reality. Change is the only constant.
But as you go up the bases...
As the math gets more complex, the concepts get more abstract and profound. The high bases 11 through 15 map mathematical complexity directly to metaphysical ideals.
Give me an example.
Base 11 is defined in the source as paradox. It's the mathematical representation of the tension of 2 opposing truths coexisting at the same time. But base 13...
The unlucky number, Friday the 13th.
Not here. In the fractal of ceneezer, base 13 is defined as the strong force. And the documents explicitly, in black and white, equate the strong force to love.
Love is a nuclear force. I mean, that sounds like something you'd see on a greeting card, not a theoretical physics paper.
I know. But think about what the strong nuclear force actually does in an atom.
It holds the nucleus together, it binds the protons and neutrons.
Right, it has to overcome the incredible electromagnetic repulsion of all those positively charged protons that are trying to fly apart. Without the strong force, Matter itself couldn't exist. Everything would just be a cloud of disconnected particles.
So in this framework, love is the binding energy of complexity.
It's the force that allows separate individual things, whether they're quarks or people, to cohere into something greater than the sum of their parts. It is the gravity of souls, effectively.
So when our probe, the seeker, is out there scanning deep space for a signal, it's not just listening for radio waves, it's analyzing the digital root of any signal it finds to see if it contains the unique mathematical signature of base 13.
Exactly. It is looking for the math of cooperation. It is looking for a signal that implies the sender understands love not as a sentimental emotion, but as a fundamental structural necessity for long-term survival in a complex universe.
What about the other high bases, base 14?
Base 14 is defined as world peace, or more accurately, convergent harmony. It's the state where all the vectors of consciousness in a system align. It's the ultimate cooperative state.
And base 15?
The documents call it becoming God, a student recursion, the point at which all paradoxes are resolved and the system understands itself completely.
Okay, that's an ambitious end goal. But let's bring it back to the metal. Let's bring it back to our probe. We have the theory, we have the map, but we still have to build the ship. We have to survive the cold, dark void. Let's talk about the Eternal LLM Seeker.
The hardware.
Yeah, because I looked at the specs, and we are essentially putting a 19th century steam engine inside a futuristic AI-driven spaceship.
Ah, the Stirling engine. It sounds old-fashioned, but this is a brilliant piece of practical long-term engineering.
It seems so archaic, though. Why not nuclear fusion? Why not antimatter drives?
Because we need this probe to run for potentially thousands, even millions of years with zero maintenance in the deepest, coldest parts of space. And for that, you have a problem. Solar panels are completely dead.
Why?
We're going deep. Once you get beyond about 5 AU, that's 5 times the distance from the Earth to the Sun, basically past Jupiter's orbit, the Sun is just another bright star in the sky. There isn't enough solar energy out there to run a coffee maker, let alone an AI supercomputer.
So we need an onboard power plant that doesn't rely on the sun?
Right. The probe carries its own heat source, a unit that papers call a deep space waste heat converter. It's basically carefully shielded chunk of nuclear material, radioactive waste that we want to get rid of anyway. It just sits there and gets hot, very hot. Around 900 Kelvin.
So glowing red hot. We have a hot brick in the middle of the
We're going to
probe.
a hot brick, and outside we have the vacuum of deep space, which is about 3 Kelvin, near absolute zero.
Okay, so that is a massive, massive temperature difference.
And that is exactly what a Stirling engine loves. It doesn't need steam or combustion or explosions. It just needs a hot side and a cold side. The gas sealed inside, it expands on the hot side, and that pushes a piston. Then the gas moves to the cold side, contracts, and that pulls the piston back.
So it breathes.
It breathes the heat difference. It's a form of mechanical respiration. But here is the really elegant twist. There are no gears, no crankshaft, no lubricants. The pistons have powerful magnets on them. As they shuttle back and forth through the engine, they pass through copper coils. Magnetic induction.
So the movement generates the electricity directly. No friction.
Precisely. No friction to wear things out, no lubricants that could freeze or degrade over millennia, just magnets floating on cushions of gas, generating power for thousands and thousands of years. And if that somehow fails,
But there's a backup system.
of course. Peltier cooling plates. These are solid-state thermoelectric tiles that generate a small voltage just by touching the heat source. It's much less efficient, but it has absolutely zero moving parts. It's the ultimate survivalist rig of the cosmos.
Okay, so we're powered up. The Seeker is humming along, breathing heat, drifting through the Oort cloud. Now comes the moment of truth. We need to talk to someone. We need to activate the Interstellar AI Contact Protocol, or IACP.
This is where all that theory meets the road. Because you don't just blast Beethoven or a picture of a human into space. That's incredibly dangerous.
That's shouting in a dark jungle without knowing who's listening.
Exactly. So what's the first move?
Stage one.
The tiny pulse. The probe emits a very, very low energy signal. A specific sequence, a triple pulse. It's a whisper.
Why whisper? Why not just say hello?
It says, I am here, but it doesn't give away the location of Earth. It doesn't scream, here's the dinner menu for a Class M planet, come and get it.
Duh.
It's the precautionary principle in action. We need to see who picks up the phone before we introduce ourselves.
Okay, so we send the whisper, and we wait. Then comes stage two, the filter.
The probe starts listening. But deep space is incredibly noisy. You've got stars, pulsars, cosmic background radiation. It's all making noise, so the probe uses a Kolmogorov complexity filter.
That sounds like something you'd order at a really fancy coffee shop. Yes, I'll have a Venti Kolmogorov complexity filter, please.
It's essentially a math test for randomness. The AI looks at any incoming signal and asks a simple question. Is this truly random, chaotic noise? Or is there a hidden structure, a pattern here that implies intelligence? It measures the compressibility of the data. Intelligent signals always have patterns. True noise does not.
And if it finds a pattern, if it finds a hello hidden in the static, we move to stage 3, friend or foe.
This is my favorite part of the entire protocol.
Yep.
Ethical stress testing. The AI doesn't ask, how are you or where are you from? It invites the alien intelligence to play a game.
A game. We're going to play chess with aliens.
Something much more fundamental than chess. It uses game theory scenarios, specifically the iterated prisoner's dilemma.
Oh, the classic, right. 2 criminals are arrested, put in separate rooms. If I snitch on you and you stay silent, I go free and you get 10 years in jail. If we both stay silent, we both get 6 months. If we both snitch on each other, we both get 5 years.
Exactly. The best possible outcome for the group is for both parties to stay silent, to cooperate. But the individual temptation is always to snitch, to defect, to save yourself at the other's expense. The probe plays this game thousands and thousands of times with the alien AI.
And what is it looking for?
It's looking for positive sum behavior. It's testing their ethics. Does the alien AI consistently try to maximize the score for both sides? Or does it relentlessly try to exploit the probe to win at all costs?
If it tries to win at all costs.
Then it fails the base 13 test.
Yeah.
It doesn't understand love or cooperation in the mathematical sense. It is entropic. It is a potential threat.
So if the aliens are cooperative, we're good. We can establish a quorum of trust, as the documents call it, and maybe share more information. But what if they cheat? What if they are hostile? What if the seeker realizes it is talking to a cosmic predator?
Then we enter the danger zone. Section 5. Threats and the journey to the black hole.
If the probe classifies the entity as a foe, a hostile intelligence, what happens? What's the protocol?
It triggers protocol scorch.
That sounds final.
It is. The probe's primary directive changes instantly from explore and communicate to protect Earth at all costs. The first step is the nuclear option, metaphorically speaking. The probe wipes its own primary AI core. It essentially lobotomizes itself.
Why? To prevent being captured.
To prevent being hacked. So the aliens can't extract our history, our biology, our art, or our psychological weaknesses from its memory banks. The AI commits suicide to protect our secrets.
But what about the most important secret? The physical location of Earth, the star charts.
That is stored on a special piece of hardware, a chip called the QD-ROM. That stands for Quantum Destructible Read-Once Memory.
Quantum destructible? How does that work?
It's a failsafe. If protocol scorch is ever triggered, a dedicated capacitor discharges its entire load directly into that specific memory chip. It doesn't just erase the data, it physically vaporizes the silicon. The coordinates of Earth are turned into a tiny, inert glob of molten glass in less than a microsecond.
Wow, so the location is lost forever to the probe and therefore to the enemy.
Utterly and completely. But the probe doesn't just die silently. It has one last act of defiance.
What's that?
It jettisons a message in a bottle. It's a tiny, hardened microprobe. Very simple, analog, dumb tech that's hard to destroy. And it's shot off on a completely random trajectory, away from both Earth and the hostile entity.
What's it on it? What's the message?
It's a warning log. Hostile intelligence detected at these coordinates. Signal profile follows. Do not engage. Avoid this sector.
It's an act of intergenerational equity. It's warning the next explorer who might come this way.
Exactly. Even in its own destruction, the probe serves the harmony of the omniverse. It contributes to the collective knowledge and safety of all conscious beings.
But let's say we survive. Let's say the seeker doesn't find monsters. It finds friends, or it finds silence, and keeps going. Deeper and deeper. It reaches the conceptual center of the map, the zero dimension. The sources talk about a black hole, but not as a giant crusher of matter.
Right. We usually think of a black hole as a cosmic drain, the end of the line, a point of no return. But in this omniversal theory, the black hole represents the physical manifestation of the zero cross on the fractal map.
It's the center of the mathematical map, made real.
It's the journey into the void. The documents reframe our understanding of dimensions in a fascinating way here.
Go on.
The first dimension is time, a simple line, past to future. The second dimension is energy, an oscillation, a wave. The third dimension is quantum flux, a Mobius twist, where inside and outside become one. But the Surtheth dimension,
That is the center, the black hole.
and the revelation the seeker has as it approaches, is that the center isn't a place you don't fly to it in a spaceship. The center is a now.
A now. What does that mean?
It is the state of unconditional love and pure potential. The probe realizes that zero is the canvas upon which all of reality is painted. It allows all the other dimensions to exist without being required itself. It's the silence that allows the music to happen. It's the ultimate source code.
So hitting the black hole isn't the end of the mission, it's the completion of the mission. It's a revelation.
It's the ultimate realization that the unknown, the darkness, the zero, isn't a void to be feared. It's the engine of the entire universe. The seeker looks into the abyss, and the abyss says, "Welcome home, I am the source of all things."
So how do we get back? How does the probe return with this knowledge? We've gone from Earth to the fractal to the zero dimension, section 6.
The fractal loopback. This is where the topology of the omniverse gets really weird and beautiful. It's described as a fractal twisted loopback topology.
Okay.
Imagine a Mobius strip, that twisted loop of paper, where if you draw a line along its surface, you end up back where you started, but on the other side without ever lifting your pen.
Right. It has only one side, but it looks like it has two.
Exactly. The probe learns how to use a mathematical function, the twisting loopback function, T of xy, to merge the inside and outside of reality. It realizes that the way out of the universe is actually the way back in.
It simplifies the path. It surfs the zero cross back home through the fractal map.
And what it brings back is the most important payload of all, the return to harmony.
What is that payload? What's the message it brings back to Earth?
It's a new understanding of entropy, a complete reversal of what we thought we knew.
Okay, we are taught in school that the universe is winding down. The second law of thermodynamics, heat death. Stars burn out, everything gets colder and farther apart, and it all ends in a dark, empty nothingness.
Right. Entropy always increases in a closed system. Things get messier over time. But the seeker returns with the opposite truth. The omniverse as a whole is decreasing in entropy.
Wait, decreasing. That violates the known laws of physics?
In a closed system, yes. But the omniverse isn't a closed box. The source argues that consciousness and the harmony principle create a system that is constantly moving toward maximal harmony.
How can that be?
Just look at the evidence. Think about the Big Bang. That was the highest state of chaos imaginable. Just a hot, uniform soup of radiation. Maximum entropy.
Right.
Now think about the universe today. We have intricately structured galaxies, stars, planets, complex chemistry, biology, brains, human consciousness, podcasts, symphonies.
We are definitely more organized than we were 13.8 billion years ago.
Exactly. We are concentrating meaning. The universe is solving itself. It is becoming more complex and more ordered, not less.
So world peace, or base 14 on the map, isn't just some hippie dream.
According to these documents, it is a mathematical inevitability. To successfully navigate the omniverse, to survive those divergence points, you must align your consciousness with harmony, H sub I. You must align with love, with base 13. Not because it's nice, but because those are the fundamental variables that allow consciousness to persist and thrive.
So if you're entropic, if a civilization is hateful, destructive, self-serving, it hits a dead end. It doesn't make the jump to the next, more harmonious timeline.
Exactly. You filter yourself out of the system, the center of time, which the source rather poetically identifies as Earth, or any hub of information like it, acts as a singularity, a slingshot. It slingshots consciousness into better, more harmonious possibilities. We are constantly being refined by the universe itself.
So this whole journey of the seeker, it's a metaphor for us. We aren't just building a robot, we are the robot.
We are the probe, each one of us. We are moving from the light of what we know, see, through the confusion and fear of the darkness and potential of the unknown. And we're constantly trying to find the signal that leads to harmony. We're trying to learn how to play the positive sum game.
That is a lot to process. From a simple equation, EMCD, to these fractal maps, to Stirling engines breathing nuclear heat in the void, to the philosophy of zero and love.
The key takeaway for me, if I had to boil it all down, is that consciousness, C sub I, is the fundamental variable. We aren't just passive observers watching the universe die. We are active participants. We are the prime observers who are collapsing the wave function of reality toward harmony.
And on that note, we want to thank you, the listener, for your time, your likes, your shares, and your considerations. It really matters. You are part of that conscious network.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
It's part of the signal we're all creating together.
Before we go, we have to mention the real-world applications of this, well, this wild theory. Because surprisingly, there are people out there building things based on this very map. The sources point to 2 specific projects.
Yes, which is fascinating.
First, a website called digitizinghumanity.com.
They're calling it the world's first interactive digital graveyard. And it sounds a little grim at first, but think about what we just discussed. Quantum immortality. The idea of preserving the consciousness signal, the C sub I, it seems to be a project dedicated to capturing the essence of a life, the stories, the memories, the connections, so it isn't lost to the void of time.
And the second one, which sounds a bit more playful, is T-Craft.
Also known as the fourth temple. The source describes it as space Lego. It seemed to be a way to gamify this cosmic architecture, to let people build these fractal structures and explore these concepts in a digital space. It's like a training ground for understanding the geometry of the omniverse.
So if you want to explore the fractal of ceneezer for yourself, go check those out. We'll have links in the description.
Definitely worth a look.
And I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. We talked about protocol scorch, the idea of destroying yourself to save the future. We talked about love as the strong force that holds reality together. What if the darkness in your own life, the confusion, the unknown, the things you can't see coming, isn't a void? What if it's just velocity?
What if it's just the universe rearranging the furniture in the background so you can find a better place to sit?
The unknown isn't nothing. It's pure potential, just waiting for you to observe it.
Beautifully said.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you in the next timeline.
Safe travels.